Hello everyone, today I'll be clearing up a few viewpoints from Tectone's Contingency Contract videos, the CN response in his new video, a bit of it. I don't usually involve myself in drama, I prefer posting gameplay videos and letting my content speak for itself, but this matter has gone way out of hand and I want to clear some stuff up as a both native Chinese and English speaker. And by the way, I still don't have a mic, so it's still text to speech for now. We're going to start with Tectone's first video that started this mess, and I will be cutting out some of the video that's unnecessary, like the introductions.
There is no, I don't know why people are acting like there is. There is no one specific way, no one right way that everybody can prepare for contingency contract at the exact same time.
There is no one right way, but there are several suggested teams, which I've mainly covered in my CC video, and there are some crucial units which will make your life easier. You can clear CC without them.
It's just not a reality that you can do. You cannot say, oh, do all these things. Everybody should do this. Not everybody is going to be able to M3 Silver Ash. Not everybody is going to be able to M3 Feeder, Saria, Myrtle, yada yada yada, like everybody has been saying.
The suggested levels from CN is E2 for these units, not M3, which takes a lot of time. E2 is considerably faster and cheaper than M3, which I feel most or all of N players can at least squeeze in one E2 before CC hits, since the average time for E2 is about a week.
There is way different ways to prepare for it, and to be honest, people are stressing that you need to M3 this and M3 that, but what they're not telling you is that's to clear the entire event. If you want to flex on your buddies and be like, oh, I cleared every single level, you can, but what that's actually saying is, hey, I did a bunch of shit that's not required. Isn't that cool? And that mentality is freaking people the hell out.
This is true. Some people won't be able to clear the entire event if they're a complete newbie.
So, I'm going to explain how top-end players should be preparing, and then also a way that low-end and mid-game players should be preparing, because they're very different. So I'm going to start off with the elephant in the room. Everybody says, oh dude, you better have an E2 M3 skill 3 Silver Ash, otherwise you're fucked. Are you noticing that my Silver Ash is E1 level 50? Are you noticing he's at rank fucking 6? Wanna know why? Because I don't give a shit about this overused unit, okay? I do not give a fuck about Silver Ash, and let me tell you why. Because if I need one for contingency contract, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use my friends list, and I'm going to bring in somebody else's Silver Ash, because that's a thing that you can do.
I also feel that Silver Ash is an overused unit, but I still have him raised. The problem with friend supports is 1, you're required to actually have a friend with a high-level Silver Ash, and 2, you're reliant on our Knights' busted friend support system to borrow the high-level Silver Ash. In CN right now we get 10 refreshes, but N only has 5. This is problem number 1. Problem number 2 is when you're missing several crucial units for CC but you have Silver Ash in your inventory. For example, you don't have Saria because you didn't buy her, or you don't have Feeder. You can only borrow one friend support at a time, so locking in Silver Ash into that friend support straight up eliminates the chances of borrowing someone else. If you lock in Silver Ash into your friend support, you would have to have a perfect composition otherwise.
But unfortunately, because people are being scared half to death, I have so many people on Twitch, so many people on Discord, including my wife, who got jebaited into M3ing Silver Ash's ability 3 because they felt like they have to. Dog, you don't. If there is a unit that you need, now it is capped to 1, you can just grab it from your friends list. So relax on the whole, you gotta build Silver Ash right now train. Now, while yes, the next tip could possibly apply for top-end players, majority of early and mid-game players, when they're told that you need to E3 Feeder's ability 1, M3 Feeder's ability 1, M3 Myrtle's ability 1, M3 Silver Ash's ability 3, M3 Saria's ability 1 or ability 2, that's something they're not going to be able to do. And that's also something they don't need to do.
For someone just starting out in our Knights, I agree with diversifying your roster, but if you're around level 50 to 80, and are F2P, you would do better to raise units like Hojiguma, Saria to E2 level 60 or so.
If you are a mid to low game player, what you need to do is diversify your roster as much as possible. You need to build as many different units as possible, not to E2, just to E1, okay? E1 like 50, 55, okay? Get as many as your units like that as possible. And now that's a good tip. And the reason why that's a good tip, because that's not just good for contingency contract, that's just good as a whole.
CC, coming from a veteran that has been through it, is not a test of diversifying your roster. CC is a test of the levels and the skill levels of the crucial units that I've mentioned above. The reason why Silverash, Saria, Feater, etc. is so widely recommended for CC is because they pass the test of CC in various bans. It's because they haven't been banned in the earlier CC, which is why they do so well in both events. We don't know if this holds true for later events, but as of the moment, this is what CN players recommend because it works.
This is a tip that you should be following for like all players. If you only have like 20 units built, dog, just build a couple more. Even E1ing these units is a good step, and that even helps a lot for base building because you'll unlock new traits, new ways to optimize your idle gameplay. That way when you're offline it helps, but also it'll help you get through certain stages that require certain mechanics that you need to counter, and that holds very true for Contingency Contract, okay? So once again, just work on E1ing your units, and dude, you can like E1 like 12 units before you can E2 one unit, okay? So you can start building all these units. Obviously, you know, don't like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna E1 all my healers. No, like E1 50 a couple vanguards, a couple guards, a couple defenders, a couple healers, a couple arch damage, physical damage, AoE, single target, all that. You just make sure that you have reserves. If there's a specific archetype of unit type that you are severely lacking on, like if you don't have like 2 minimum of a role, well, build your second one, build your third one, and round it out. The reason why I'm saying this so much is because for a lot of people don't know is that Contingency Contract can ban certain types of units. So they can ban guards, they can ban defenders, shit like that. So if all you're doing is like, oh, okay, Contingency Contract coming up, I'm gonna E2 90 my Silverash, and then you're like, oh wait, he's banned today, you are going to get absolutely shit stomped.
I don't know if Tectone has read up on CC or not, but you can choose risks. If you have a ground-heavy team, you can choose the risk that bans mages and snipers. If you have a mage and sniper-heavy team, you can choose the ground ban. If you have a E2 level 90 Silverash, you can just not choose the guard ban.
But if you have a well-rounded roster, you will be a lot safer. And dog, as a mid-end, low-end player, that is all you should be worried about. If you're low-end, free-to-play, you should not be worried about beating the top of completely optional content. The only thing that you should give a shit about is, okay, how do I get rewards as easily as possible? That is all you should worry about, because that's where you actually get the most benefit. And the other thing to know is like, oh, well, dude, I just really want to beat all of Contingency Contract right now, because if I don't, then I never will. Dog, Contingency Contract is going to come back as a permanent game mode.
Newbies should not worry, but this event is almost like a free resource grab, since CC doesn't spend any sanity, not counting your real-life sanity, and you get free materials from it. F2P players level 60 and above should be aiming for at least 7 units at E2, which would be your core units in CC. CC in CN is not a permanent game mode. It's available for 1.5 weeks on CN, then the mode closes and you can only do the practice stages, which doesn't give you any event currency.
So if you're really chapping your ass because you think this event is going to go away forever after it's over, it's not. When this event was over in CN, it received such a widespread positivity that Yostar just implemented it into the game full time. So, don't fucking worry. All y'all need to do is focus on the rewards and you're good, okay? So, hopefully that calms down all the budget and mid-game players. Now, I'm gonna talk to all the whales like me. Now, yo, I'm gonna make a video for this very, very, very soon, going into like full detail of like why I'm saying what this is, but just to give you just some standard information that if you want to like ask me why to do this, you can drop by my Twitch. But for right now, I'm gonna give you all a couple recommendations for operators that you can build like fully, like full build, like E2 90 M3. You don't really have to go that far at all, but you know, if you want to go above and beyond, like fuck dude, if you're a whale, do whatever the fuck you want, right? It's kind of my mindset right now. Okay, so So I have a couple lists right here that I wrote down, and it has a couple really good operators for recommendation. Okay, so the whole thing about Silver Ash, where I said you don't have to build them. Okay, if you're a whale, fuck it. Don't worry about it, okay? If you're a whale, you build Silver Ash. And let me tell you why. Because if you build him, then you can be the guy that can save all the fucking plebs. Okay? And that's very important. Now, I give a fuck, but I don't give a fuck enough to build Silver Ash and go against my morals. But if you want to be that guy and be the M3 level 90 Silver Ash guy, fucking go for it. Get 49 plebs and carry them to victory, alright?
I don't build a lot of meta units, especially not Silver Ash, but having an E2 Silver Ash in your arsenal is a very very good tool for yourself. Here are my masteried units if anyone wants to see how I build my team.
Now the next thing I want to talk about is Helliger. Now Helliger is really nice, and I don't care what people say. First of all, he's fucking crazy. But for his ability to, based on the numbers, you really don't need to M3 this. You can if you like, but skill 7 is generally fine for Helliger. But if you have a Helliger, definitely get him to E2, get him to rank, get him to rank 7, and then you're pretty much good to go, because Helliger absolutely dumpsters Contingency Contract. Other operators I'd like to recommend is Spectre. Spectre's pretty good. Same thing with Scotty. Now, some more operators I want to recommend is, okay, you have a choice between Neural and Sorry, because you're going to need a healing defender. And you kind of have a choice between ability 1 and ability 2. Now, this is one's a lot of back and forth, but people say you can build ability 1 because it's nice because you can hold 3 charges and then burst heal somebody, because there is going to be a lot of like burst damage happening in some Contingency Contract maps. But I like the ability 2 for Sorry a lot more because it has a lot more universal use than our ability 1.
I highly do not recommend Mastery for skill 2, since in healer band maps you will be always using skill 1.
Now, this one I will go into much more detail in a future video, but as a general blanket statement, just get her to rank 7 and have her E2'd for now. Having an E2 Sorry will greatly benefit your changing Contingency Contract. Now, the next thing I'll talk about is Arch Damage Guards. Lapland's real good. Okay, Lapland's real good. Her ability 2 is actually great to M3. It's not required by any means. It definitely helps a lot. But the thing about Lapland's M3 is that when you get that shit maxed out, dog, the cooldown for that is like drastically reduced. I think it requires like 24, 25 attacks at like M0, but at M3 it's going to require 16. Which, by the way, is a lot less, and it'll also last a lot longer. So yeah, if you want to M3 your Lapland, I am going to do that. It's definitely giga worth. That being said, you can still use your Stasias, your Moose, and your Chens. They are all great operators. And yeah, for Chen, obviously ability 2. But for Stasi and Mouse, it's pretty self-explanatory. For tanks, we can talk about Hoshiguma and Kuwara. Hoshiguma has 2 different builds she can go. She can go the Power Saw strat, or she can go the Ability 2 strat. I don't have Hoshiguma, so I'm just going to stick with her Ability 2 build. And that honestly kind of works, and that shit works at like rank 7. So just like a big-ass meat shield, like you don't really need Hoshiguma. You can use her if you do, and she will help you a lot more, because then she can also return some damage. But you can just use Kuwara as like your typical, like, you know, unit that's going to get the shit beat out of them.
About Hoshiguma and Kuwara, in CC you will need a very good high star pure defender that can tank, and Kuwara doesn't cut it because of her skill. Even in CC2, where it was relatively easier than CC1, I had to raise my Hoshiguma to level 70 to pass risk 18, which tells you about the kind of levels you need. Even Neon pales in comparison to Hoshigima's pure tankiness in CC2.
Obviously, AF Ayala and Ifrit are both broken. Ability 2 on AF Ayala is what I'm going to greatly prefer, because you only need to M1 it, because that's when you get the 3rd extra charge. But also, you know, the Volcano ability is very good, because, you know, it's a fucking volcano. Also, Ifrit ability 2 is going to be fucking nuts here. Very good. And obviously, you know that by now. If you don't have an Ifrit, definitely do it. I would recommend E2ing her, because it does give you a shit ton of extra damage, and that can really fill up the gaps of your roster, the gaps of your roster, if you haven't done that already. And other than that, it's very important for you to build Angelina as well, if you have the ability to do so. And this is talking about for like top-end content. Angelina's ability 3 is very important, because you're going to combo it with like a pusher. You can use Shaw or Feeder, but I would recommend Feeder because she's just a lot more reliable, because you can take a lot more damage than Shaw can, and you can get it for free as long as you get her in the next like 4 or 5 days from the Red Search shop. Should be so yeah, Angelina ability 3 is going to be great for Contingency Contract.
If you are wanting to go with a full aerial team in CC1, the recommended units are Ifrit, Ejafyala, and Mistima, along with Angelina and Exage. Anyway, that's all regarding the actual video in question. Next we will be taking a look at the CN response on Bilibili and NGA. On to the translation, because some people are saying that it's badly translated. As a native CNN speaker, I really don't see any mistranslations. If you have anything that you would like to point out, please DM me on Discord. I'm always open to things I've missed. Surprisingly, a lot of the Danmu on Bilibili are in defense of Tectone, like, oh, he doesn't want to copy homework. That's not something to be angry about. Or didn't you all copy homework? Stop pretending to be so mighty. Most of the people against Tectone's views on CC is because he might be misleading newbie players. Next on NGA, which is like the CN version of Reddit, a lot of people are defending Tectone because whatever goes on in N should not be discussed in CN because the games are so different, and some are admonishing people who have gone onto Reddit under the banner of CN player and tried to stir up drama. This is all nice and dandy, but it's what happened afterwards that makes me personally a bit disappointed in how Tectone handled things. He came into the RIHQ server, and started trying to clear some misunderstandings, which I understand. But when people came up with the argument, he resorted to calling names and looking down on other players to make his point. Shit circumstances doesn't excuse your behavior. A very good example of a person that handles his persona and his real life very well is Filthy Frank aka Hoji. He's very successful in creating a persona that's detached from his actual life, and is what I would recommend you to do. I think sometimes people can get too passionate and get angry over your views because sometimes you're way too aggressive on some units like Provence or Silverash. The videos are not clipped or translated wrongly. Maybe you don't like the response, but there is nothing wrong with the translation as far as I see.
Once again, I don't mind being shit-talked for something that I am. But being shit-talked for something that I haven't said and that I'm not is just very frustrating. In my most recent video on Contingency Contract prep, I am being quoted as saying, you should E150 all of your units, and you shouldn't E2 any of your units. That is not what I say. What I say is, if you are a free-to-play or budget player, you should focus on diversifying your roster before worrying about E2ing your units, okay? Because here's why. To E2 a unit from scratch as a free-to-play budget player who probably aren't refreshing, it's going to take you about 16 days, okay? 16 motherfucking days. That is unreal. So what instead you can do is, you can diversify your roster, make sure you have 2 vanguards, 2 healers, 2 guards, just a couple, right? A couple, which by the way, means fucking 2. Okay? A couple means fucking 2, which is what I say. A couple of vanguards, a couple of healers. Okay? So that way you have a diverse roster. That way you can use strats over stats.
Again, this is for very very low level players, almost like players are starting out. These players would never be able to clear CC in its entirety, which is why it's good advice to tell them to diversify their roster. But some people might hear strats over stats and think that they can straight guys their way through CC, which is misleading. And here, if you don't have an E2, if you're just starting out, which is who he's talking about I assume, you won't be able to borrow E2 units.
And here's the thing, it's not just Billy. Just kind of the community in general. At the beginning of that video, I say the community seems very fragmented, and I'm going to be honest, it is.
Most of the fragmentation comes from the language barrier, and that's something that not a lot of people can fix in a short amount of time. I also find it hypocritical that you are against the fragmentation of the community, and yet you've released a video bashing the CN players. Wouldn't this cause even more chaos?
You can go into AK Official right now. Look up Tectone, you will see pages of shit talk. You look up Dreamy, you will see pages of shit talk. You look up Kyostin V, you will see pages of shit talk. You can look up any Arknights content creator, and there will be pages of shit talk. For what? Who the fuck knows? Is it moderated? Not even a little bit. These people who go out of their way, even Peace Cow, these people who go out of their way to attempt to help make the experience more enjoyable, just get absolutely blasted. And it's like that with every game. Not even being attempted to be mitigated, which I just find is ridiculous. Just making it social norms to just shit on everybody. Dog, this game isn't PvP, but my God, do the forums and Discord feel that way. Holy shit. This game, my channel, was all about just trying to have fun. And I'm gonna be real, the past couple days have not been fucking fun at all.
If you are getting stressed from YouTube, take a break. Take a break and come back after. The game can wait and your fans can wait. Don't make videos in a bad mental state because it will come to bite you in the ass later. Anyway, that's all for now. I hope everyone can go back to normal and stop pointing fingers at each other since that's not good for anyone.